Then I will begin. Welcome all, lovely to see many of you on screen. This is our first virtual Five Talents event for 2023. So it's wonderful that you can all join us, and particularly wonderful to welcome Lauzi from Mombasa. Lauzi is the program coordinator of our newest program in Kenya and in fact in the Five Talents family. So it's wonderful to have her with us today to share a little bit about her work. Our structure for today is that Hannah, who works with Lauzi, is going to ask Lauzi some questions on behalf of us all. Then we're going to show you a short video from Mombasa, and then there'll be time for you all to ask your questions too. So please do type your questions in the chat box as we go along, and Megan will kindly curate those for us all. Before I hand over to Hannah though, for those of you who don't know Five Talents, let me just tell you a little bit about what we do. So I'm Rachel and I lead our team here in the UK. We work with lots of partners across 9 different countries. And the best way I can tell you about our work is by telling you about one of our members. So I'm going to tell you the story of Rebecca, who is a lady that our colleague Anne met in South Sudan about 2 weeks ago. Now, Rebecca has 10 children. She's a widow in her 40s, and she had no business, no way to support her family after her husband died. She joined a Five Talents savings group through our partner in South Sudan, the Mothers Union. Through her group, she learnt how to read and write and count. She learnt some business skills. And with her group, she formed a savings group. So the members came together every week to save what money they could in a communal box. And once there was enough money in the box, they started making loans to each other. Rebecca took a loan to buy some ingredients to make donuts, and she started baking donuts and selling them from her door. But after a little time, she realised from her business skills training she could get much more custom if she moved into the market. So she took another loan to buy a small kiosk in the market. So now she's selling donuts from her kiosk in the market, and with the proceeds from her business, all of her 10 children are going to school. So she's supporting her whole family through her business. She says her life has completely changed now, and she's really proud that she can support her family. Rebecca is one of just 30,000 members of savings groups that Five Talents supports through our partners every single year. And our vision is to grow that number from 30,000 a year to 60,000 a year over the next 5 years. That's going to take a lot of work and a lot of support from people like you, and a lot of hard work from our partners like Lauzi. So we're delighted to welcome Lauzi to the family to tell you a little bit more about her work in Mombasa, and inspire you all with how it goes. So let me hand over to Hannah now, and thank you all again for coming.
Thank you, Rachel. Hi, everyone. It's so lovely to see so many of you with us today, and some familiar faces as well. Thank you for joining. Just before we begin, my name is Hannah. I'm part of the program team at Five Talents. And today, like Rachel says, we're hearing from Lauzi, who is part of the organisation that Five Talents have partnered with in Mombasa in Kenya. Those of you who have been part of our kind of Five Talents family for a little while might be thinking, Mombasa, this is a new place. And yes, you would be right. So Five Talents started working in Mombasa last year. So I think this is the first event we've done where we've been able to introduce so many people to Lauzi and to the program there. So we're really excited, and thank you again for joining us today. So Lauzi, it would be wonderful if you're just able to introduce yourself and perhaps the team that you work with as well.
Thank you, Hannah. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see your faces. I can see everyone is smiling, and that's a good indicator. Okay. My name is Lauzi Hanan, and I'm the program coordinator from Mombasa. And our program is known as Mombasa Community Development Trust. Currently, in our office, we have 3 staff. That is Lauzi Hanan as the program coordinator. Then we have 1 field officer and 1 field accountant. Yeah. And a short story about Lauzi is that Lauzi is just a young lady in this sector of business, and I'm glad that I'm in the Five Talents family. And I have a degree in the Bachelor's of Economics and Statistics from the Kenyatta University, which is a university situated here in Kenya. And Lauzi, I can say, is a very adventurous young lady. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you, Lauzi. And I would add, Lauzi is not just a young lady. She's been really pioneering and taking this program from just the beginnings to where it is now, which we'll hear more about shortly. Lauzi, you mentioned a bit then about your experience before you joined, particularly in kind of the sector more widely. I was wondering if you might be able to share a little bit about what excited you about the opportunity to join MCDT, which is the organization that Five Talents has partnered with in Mombasa.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. So what really excited me in joining the Five Talents program is the thought of being able to help my community by improving their social lives, and that is by improving their living standards. And before I was able to join the Five Talents family, I was previously in a microfinance organization known as the Kenya Women Microfinance Bank, which is situated here in Kenya. And we used to go around like empower women specifically in the communities within Mombasa. That is by being able to start more of like they were forming the savings group. And with the Kenya women, we used to offer them with the loans. So like with that thought and also the mission of Five Talents Kenya, which is transforming lives through economic empowerment, that gave me the urge to be like motivated to really join this family and to be able to help my Mombasa community at large, and also to be able to move them from one like I can say, like being able to eradicate the extreme poverty that is in some of our areas within the Mombasa community, and being able to see them that they have grown and now they're able to sustain their lives. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lauzi. You share a little bit there about the vision of what you hope to see, of where people are now and where you hope that journey will take them. Are you able to share perhaps a little bit more about what the communities that you work with when you visit, what you hear from them, their hopes are for the impact of this program and of the savings groups?
Okay, thank you, Hannah. So first, I will share with you what Mombasa Community Development Trust impact is. And our impact, or as a program, what we hope to achieve is that we hope to achieve to have a socially transformed and an economically empowered community that is living dignified lives. Now, through this, our members or the society at large within the Mombasa diocese, they hope that they'll be able to have access and the uptake to financial services through our trainings that we'll be providing to them. That is the financial trainings that we'll be offering to them. And also, through that, they'll be having a self-reliant attitude, and that means that people will be individually, or will be able to depend on themselves. That is meaning that we'll be reducing the dependency syndrome within our communities. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about that. And for people who maybe live in the UK and might not have visited Mombasa, I suspect that many of us, the image that comes to mind is one of incredible beaches and sunshine. And I have had the privilege of visiting, and indeed that is part of the picture in Mombasa. And Lauzi, you grew up in Mombasa, you're from Mombasa. I'm wondering if you've painted an incredible picture there of the hope that you hope this program will bring. Are you able to share a little bit as well about the challenges, about why there is a need for the program like the one that MCDT is bringing?
Okay, thank you, Hannah. What I'll do first, I'll give an overview of how Mombasa City looks like. Yeah, that's true, Hannah. This is an island, and we are covered with the Indian Ocean. And just to give a brief history about the Mombasa City, it is that this is an ancient coastal city. And I can say it is the most integrated city within Kenya. That is in terms of social status, ethnicity, background, and also religion-wise. Because it is here in Mombasa that you will find that there are all kinds of religions within us. There are all kinds of denominations within the Mombasa city. With that, our program covers Mombasa Diocese, and the Mombasa Diocese covers 3 counties, and these counties are Mombasa County itself, parts of Kilifi County, and Kwale County. These are regional administrative boundaries which are governed by governors, and these are equivalent to the states in the USA. So what I'll take you through are some of the challenges that people within Mombasa Diocese currently are facing. And one of the major challenges that the communities in Mombasa Diocese are facing is poverty. There are high rates of poverty within the Mombasa Diocese. The second thing is low levels of education. And this is as a result that one, people are not able to access the education facilities because they're not able to raise things like it's maybe through the fact that they're ignorant and they're not seeing the need to be able to go to the institutions and be able to get education. And the other challenge is also the diseases. You find that in places, especially in Kwale County and Kilifi County, these people are not able to have access to clean water. And as a result, they face diseases like cholera, which has really affected the communities within these counties. And also another challenge, which I can also say that is facing people within the Mombasa County, is unemployment. That is a lack of formal employment and self-employment. Like people really don't have, you can find they don't really have the capital to be able to start these businesses so that they can be self-employed. And also there is scarce of them being employed in maybe some factories and all sorts of kinds. There is also an issue on child abuse, and this you find it majority in parts of Kilifi County. And also there is deforestation, which I think it's also resulting to our hot climate within Mombasa, because we have not received the rains for quite a while. Yeah, thank you, Hannah.
Thank you so much, Lauzi. It's really, I think that paints a kind of picture for all of us of some of the challenge that the communities are facing. And I might just briefly kind of say that the program is addressing some of those through, one is literacy, integrating literacy classes into some of the areas where that's a particular need in Mombasa. So I think there's going to be 3 areas where that will be true. So that will give the opportunity for people to learn basic numeracy and literacy skills. Obviously, that's important for business, but it's also important for being part of a savings group, for there to be true transparency, for everybody to be able to participate. And we know from our work elsewhere that those classes are really important for particularly women or other people who might feel excluded from, for example, taking on leadership positions in their society. We see a real transformation as a result of those kinds of literacy classes. So that's going to be something that Lauzi will be delivering through the programme. And then also some of the other challenges that Lauzi mentioned there, I think gender around access to healthcare or knowledge of kind of diseases and preventative measures. We're going to use tools within the groups to promote discussion and education for the groups as well. So it's a much broader program than just savings and loans. We're seeking to address many of these different challenges that the communities face and helping them to use the knowledge, the experience that already exists within their communities to do that. So thank you, Lauzi, for sharing that. Lauzi, I think I'm trying to remember when you joined as coordinator. I think it was maybe something like August or September of last year. Is that right?
It was on May, but we started the
May, sorry. May, okay. And since then, I know that you and the team have been really busy. Well, you recruited the others in the team around you, and you've been really busy working with some of the first groups as well in the programme. Are you able to share with us a little bit about the work that you've already done up until now?
Yes, thank you, Hannah. Okay, I'll just give a broad overview of Mombasa Diocese so that at least you can have a picture of our working environs and how many parishes we cover. So within Mombasa Diocese, we have a total of around 82 parishes that are within the 3 counties that I had mentioned earlier, which is Mombasa County, parts of Kilifi County, and Kwale County. And I can say since we began our operations, or since when we were a full team of staff, that was in sometime in October, that is 1st of October. So let's say from 1st October to the month March 2023, we've been able to do mobilization and sensitization within 22 parishes out of the 82 parishes. And within the 22 parishes that we've done mobilization and sensitization, we have been able to come or form 18 groups. That is the groups that have accepted the MCDT program, who have understood how they're going to run the program and how the program is willing to work with them until they're able to have sustainable lives. So in total, we have 18 groups now on board who are doing the savings and loaning. And within the 18 groups, through our needs assessment, we were able to also identify 6 parishes that we saw that there was need for them to receive the adult education or adult literacy. So these 6 groups are majorly within our Kwale County parishes and some in the Kilifi County parishes. Yes, and with that, I will also want to share through the FTK family. Would like to share a short video, at least so that you can see how we are able to conduct our activities, how Mombasa, the community within Mombasa looks like, and I hope from that you'll be able to have like at least a clear picture of everything that I've been able to talk to you about. Yes, thank you, Hannah.
Jina mimi naitwa David Chitinyale kutoka St. Luke's Church Mabamani, na pia mimi ni chairman wa hiki kikundi, na nashukuru kwa sababu ya hicho kikundi ama huo mradi kufika paka hapa Mabamani. Sisi kama wana Mabamani tumeona kwamba mradi huu tunaweza saidika sana, hasa kujiendeleza na hata pia kuendelea kwa mambo yetu ya kanisa.
Mimi ni mwanafunzi wa Mabamani kanisani. Sisomere hangu mwanzo ta vivi, simanya ta a, lakini sababu ya muradi vivi na mimi tundamanya kuandika na nikale mwanafunzi na nisikize mwalimu ndanambazi. Na hushukuru sana kwa tahujirehe wa mwalimu na hundafundishwa kusoma. Na simanya kusoma mimi hangu ni vyalwe ni baba na mayo kosona serwe. Kazi yehu ya kala ya urisa tu na kuloswa mtumia.
Mombasa Community Development Trust, which is a ministry of the Diocese of Mombasa. In 2005, I was invited to attend a conference in Limuru on Anglican micro-enterprise development, and it is there that I met the Chalmers Center in the USA and 5 Talents UK. We were introduced in different ways of catalyzing the church to bring about economic transformation in the community that it is serving.
Katika kikundi chetu hiki cha wajane katika hii kanisa yetu ya Rabai.
St. Paul's Church. Huwa kawaida tunakutana Jumatano ya kwanza na Jumatano ya mwisho wa mwezi, yaani kila mwezi huwa tunaenda kwenye vikundi kama hiki cha nuni cha 5 talent, ambao tunakwenda tunazidi kujengana katika hali ya maisha yetu na kuangalia pia hali ambayo tunaweza kujiboresha katika maisha yetu.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. A step of faith that will transform the Mombasa community at large.
Naitwa Mwanasiti Mwavizo, niko Mwislamu, nimealikwa hapa na pasta kuja kuendeleza kikundi, kuwekeza, kufanya miradi yoyote kwa kikundi.
And from the baseline data, we found that major problems facing the community members are poverty, unemployment, lack of clean water, bad cultural practices, illiteracy, teenage pregnancy, deforestation, and many more. Mombasa Community Development Trust comes in to ensure that through trainings and capacity building activities, the community members are able to solve their own problems using the available resources. This is a great beginning, and we believe that by all of us coming together, we will be able to achieve more.
Kwa majina naitwa Edith Tijara Ngao. Hilo ni jina liko kwa kitambulisho, lakini kwa wale wanaonijua hasa wa kanisa naitwa Mrs. Mochi. Professional yangu ni nurse. 1999 ndio niliretire. Lakini hata hivyo sikukaa nyumbani. Nilifungua kazi yangu mwenyewe, lakini nilikuwa kwa kazini nashona tu. Siwezi kukaa bure. Kwa hivyo hizi kazi ambazo nazifanya sasa nazifundisha sasa na nilizianza kitambo katika maendeleo ya wanawake Mombasa. Na mpaka leo nyumbani kwangu nashona maamba. Maamba ni shiti zile za kuungaunga, mati za kukanyagia chini za magunia na vitambaa. Nashona mito ya makaratasi ya ile paper bag zile ambazo zitupwe. Kwangu zote ni mito nalalia na keti ya sitting room yangu. Na mtu akitaka nimfundishe pia namfundisha. Na nishakuwa mtu mzima hivi akinipa shilingi 5 sitapata sukuma. Kwa hivyo ndio tuko hapa sasa tunafundishana akina mama, na sisi hapa tuwajane lazima tujitegemee. Tukingoja kutegemea wengine kwa maana tuambiwa sisi wajane ni mifupa tutegemea watu. Lakini tukijiunga pamoja tutaendelea vizuri.
Thank you, everyone. That video was prepared by Lauzi and the team in Mombasa. So a huge thank you to them, because I'm sure you can see a huge amount of work went into that. And it's probably the next best thing, short of us all getting on a very long flight to go and see things for ourselves. But it really helps, I think, to paint a picture of some of the excitement around the programme and the hopes of the communities. And also, we talk about people going and training, and actually to see some of the groups coming together and learning together is really exciting. So a huge thank you to Lauzi and the team for putting that together. I know it was a lot of work. We've got a couple more questions, but please do, if you've got anything specific you want to ask Lauzi, please do pop it in the chat and send it to Megan, and there'll be a short time at the end for a Q&A. Lauzi, I'm wondering if you might be able to share with us perhaps a specific story, someone you've met or a community that you've met, specifically thinking about their hopes for the programme.
Yes, I just want to share a story of Beatrice Jenny. She popped up in the video, and I really like to share her story because it's one inspiring story, and I can say she's a woman who is really determined and has the zeal. Beatrice Jenny is a middle-aged woman that from SEK Mabamani group. And Beatrice Mjeni, since she was born, she was not able to even step a foot into a learning facility, because when she was born, she found out that her family, they were not able or they were not capable of taking her and her siblings to go and get the education that they needed. So with Beatrice, when we went down there and introduced the program, and also told them about the adult literacy that will be facilitating to the community, she was like one of the first members who was very happy about the program, and she was very excited, and she was actually the first person to get enrolled within the adult literacy program. And because when she was brought up, all what she knew was cattle keeping and just doing work at her father's farm. So she's not able to even write her own name. Yeah, when you ask her, what's your name? She'll tell you, yeah, I'm Beatrice. But when you tell her, like, can you write your name, Beatrice? No, she's not able to do that. So she's really happy, because with that also she says that now I'm a grown-up woman. Through this, I'll be able to even help my children who have gotten the opportunity to go to school, to help them maybe with their homework, or to do ABCD through the skill that is through adult literacy that the program is going to provide to the community. And also through that, you find that with her, it has also been difficult, because even when she goes maybe to, let's say, to a health facility, she's not really able to know maybe the prescription that the doctor maybe has given to her. So she needs to look for someone else to read for her the prescription so that she's able to get the right medicine. So through this program, we see that we are going to really change the life of Beatrice Mjeni. And with her willingness to come and participate and also to be taken through the adult literacy, we are saying that we are going to really transform her life, and we are going to improve her life for the better. Yeah, thank you, Hannah.
Thank you, Lauzi. It's always lovely to hear from a specific member, and the excitement there, and the enthusiasm of somebody like Beatrice. So thank you for sharing that. My final question is, you've spoken a lot, and that story really illustrates, like I say, the hope and the expectation that's coming with the program. And I'm wondering if you might just be able to share with us a little bit about how and what the program will actually be delivering in order to achieve some of these impacts.
Okay, how the program is hoping to achieve some of these impacts, it is through the practical skills that we are going to be providing to our communities, and also through the financial literacy. And it is through this, it is that the members of the group also hope to achieve, that is, they hope to gain knowledge on ways that they are able to improve their lives. And this is through by them being able to start and manage the small businesses. And how are they going to start maybe the businesses? This is through the savings that they're going to do for a period of time, let's say 6 months. And through that, members are able to borrow loans. And so it is through the loans they're able to get capital to be able to start the businesses. And also through the trainings, and maybe when we're talking about the nutrition stuff, and according to how they're able to get help from the health facilities, through the program, they're going to be able to have access to the health facilities, and also they will have the uptake to go to these health facilities, because once you show them the importance of going to the health facilities, they will see the need and the essence of them going to the health facilities and getting the services that they need. And also through this, you find that it's also a wide area where the illiteracy is in Mombasa community, and through this program, they're going to be able to acquire education. And as we all know, education is power. and knowledge is good for our people. Yes, and also through the fact that they are able to come together. That is, we don't despise anyone, people from all religions, from any kind of social status, any kind of background. Through this program, it's going to bring them together, and that is going to create a good cohesion within the Mombasa community. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you so much, Lauzi. Thank you for sharing so much with us, and especially again to you and the team for preparing that wonderful video. I'm going to hand over to Megan now for the brief Q&A session.
Thanks, Hannah. I have a handful of questions from our audience, Lauzi, so I hope it's okay that I'm just going to go through them one by one with you. I think the last thing we've sort of been talking about is a little bit about community cohesion, and in the video, one of the members is in fact a Muslim woman who was invited by the pastor to join the group. So I guess I wondered if you could talk just a little bit about sort of the different groups that are in Mombasa Diocese. What are the different communities like, and how they will work together as a community?
Okay, thank you, Megan. So with our groups, I can say when you go to different areas, you'll find like the groups are kind of different. Why is this? You find that in some areas we have a group whereby the group is only for the, let's say, for the women. That is within the parish. The women under the Mothers Union have decided that they're going to form a group on their own. And with that, we are okay with that because we want them to have the ownership. Let them have the free will whereby they're able to have these interactions within themselves and feel that they are comfortable. So we encourage that. And when you go to other areas, you'll find that it's a mix whereby we have both men and women in the community. That is one, let's say, parish or a church is willing to work with the MCDT program. So they move as a church. So you find that they are both the men and the women. And with the others, you find like the situation of where we had the Muslim member. So you find that the vicar went ahead to talk to the community at large. So whoever was willing to come to the groups, all of them were invited. So with our program, actually, we invite everyone. So we don't like have we don't have like a specific place where we say, no, you can join the group or you can't join the group. So you find that with our program, we have all kinds of people. That is in terms of religion and in terms of gender. So we have groups who have got both men and female, and we have groups who have both the Muslims and the Christians. Yes.
Thank you, Lauzi. I think the other thing that we note across some of our other programs as well is often men and women join, and actually it creates stronger relationships within households as well. So we do hope that that's one of the outcomes in Mombasa, because I think it's always a positive impact that we never sort of envision as part of our main vision for the program. But it's very good to see that that's happening, and that men will be joining these programs as well. I think another question that was asked, which might be helpful, is you've talked about there's several different regions that Mombasa Diocese is going to cover and that the program is going to cover. Could you maybe provide us with some context as to how large that is, how large that region is? Like, how long would you have to travel to, say, get to your furthest group to do training activities?
Okay, our furthest group, I will say, is situated in the Kwale County, which is a region known as Lunga Lunga. So from, let's say, Mombasa town or Mombasa Island to the group in Lunga Lunga, it takes us like 2 hours, 30 minutes. Yes, so I can say that's the largest like coverage that we have to cover when we are going to our groups. Yeah.
And you have about 18 groups already, I think you said, but how many groups do you and the team in Mombasa envision having by, say, the end of this year or the end of next year?
Oh, okay. Yeah, according to our work plan, We hope that by the end of 2023, we are going to be having 34 groups on board. And that is in 2023. And in the year, because it's quite like we did a work plan for at least the next 2 years. And with that, we hope that through the groups that we have formed, those 34 groups, they're going to be our good ambassadors. And in the year 2024, we are hoping to double the number to at least have a amount of 68 groups to around 72 groups. Yes.
And for now, some of the groups will just be doing literacy and numeracy training. But when members do start to create businesses, what types of businesses do you think they'll start creating?
Okay, according to our area or our locality, what I can say is that they'll be able to start, let's say these are small scale businesses. And with that, let me just give you an overview of some of the economic activities that are run within the locality of Mombasa. Some of the economic activities are like trading. We have fishing, that is the people who are closer to the Indian Ocean. And we also have tourism, and we also have small scale farmers. And the small scale farmers actually come from Kwale County and Kilifi County, because with them, their climate is a bit conducive for them to do some little of cropping, food cropping. So they are able to start, that is a small scale businesses that they are able to sustain their lives with. That is at least they're able to cater for their basic needs with the small scale businesses that they're going to be able to start, because you find that through maybe the small scale farming, they're able to take the locally farmed vegetables, they take it to the market, and with that, they're able to earn an income. And also some are able to open kiosks. I don't know if you are quite familiar with that term. Yeah, it's just like a small shop where they're able to put things like detergents, just something small, and through those small kiosks or those small shops, they're able to improve their lives. Yeah.
And because I know that obviously we've talked about multiple times now the really lovely Indian Ocean and the beaches in Mombasa, and that there is a bit of a tourist economy. Does that affect businesses in Mombasa, and maybe even will affect our members? Does that mean some of the businesses may do better in one season or another because of how tourism may be working in Mombasa?
Yes, that is quite correct, Megan, because you find that these groups within, let's say, Mombasa County, where it's more of the islander, we have the peak seasons and the low seasons. When I'm talking of the peak seasons is whereby you find that the tourism industry is doing quite okay. So you find that majority of our people are able to get what we call formal employment. That is, they get to be employed in the hotels to work. And then also through that, with the high peak seasons, you find that I think for those who have been able to come to Mombasa, there are people who do the hand beads. That is, they make the bracelets and that. And we see that as a really tourist attraction, because when tourists come over, they like materials that are outsourced within the community and the things that are handcrafted. So you find that through that, they're able to sell their things, and through that, they're able to earn an income. So yes, with the Mombasa County, they're really usually affected when there is the peak season where tourists flood into the Mombasa County, and through the low seasons, you find that some of them might end up even losing their jobs. But it is through our trainings, we want them to be like what we call self-reliant. So once you lose your formal employment, what can you do for yourself so that you are able to sustain yourself? Yeah, thank you, Megan.
Thank you. I think as a good sort of follow-up to contextualize this a little bit, obviously peak tourist seasons and lows is very obvious, but I think we're all very aware that there was a lack of tourist seasons very recently because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So I guess we're all a little bit curious to know how some of the members may have been affected by that? Are they still recovering from the COVID pandemic and the lack of tourism in Mombasa?
Okay, what I can say is that they are still recovering, because I can say like the tourism industry has not really reached the peak where it used to be, because many people, okay, I can say it was globally, people were really affected with the COVID pandemic. So you find that still people are really still struggling, because even if before I had a job at a certain hotel, but due to COVID, I might have ended up losing that job. And when we are still picking up our economic activities, still trying to catch up with the pace, you find that not everyone will be recruited back. So you find there are some people till to date, they still really don't have jobs because of the COVID, they completely lost their jobs. And we are hoping that we'll be able to reach these people through our program and impact them through the practical skills, like, hey, it's not a matter of depending on this and this. You can do something on your own and you're able to sustain yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Lousy. I think I'm actually going to direct this next question to Hannah, because she is one of the only members of our team who has visited Mombasa town and some of the groups there. So Hannah, from a UK perspective, I suppose, can you tell us a little bit more about how different it is between being in Mombasa town and moving outside to where some of the other groups are going to be located? We think of Mombasa as a sort of urban area, and obviously tourism will impact the members there, but will it still impact the members who are a little bit further outside of the city centre?
Thank you, Megan. Yes, so Mombasa town is, well, it's a big city. It's hectic. I think Lausy's holding her microphone close to her mouth, because if she wasn't, we would hear the tuk-tuks going past her door. So yeah, Mombasa is a big city, and I think one of the particular challenges and one of the things that the program specifically seeks to kind of change is particularly youth unemployment. So like Lousy was saying, there's a very seasonal tourist kind of potential within Mombasa, and that particularly affects young people. When I visited last year, we drove for, it felt like a couple of hours, I'm not sure exactly how long, outside of Mombasa to one of the groups that we actually saw in the video. And there it is very different. It's, you know, it's rural Kenya. And Lousy was mentioning as well about drought and how the rains have not come. And that's a challenge that we're seeing across actually all of our programs. There's some areas that are affected more than others. So we work in Marsabit in northern Kenya, where the situation at the moment is really difficult. But it's also a challenge in Mombasa. So I'm just thinking, as we're talking about the seasonality, which is predictable most of the time, albeit not during COVID, with regards to the tourist season. For people who are working in agriculture, there's also a need for them to think about adapting to climate change, and perhaps also starting businesses that provide some sort of buffer against that, or how they can adapt their agriculture to be more what we call kind of climate smart. So although I think resilience and adaptation, it looks different if you're in a city compared to a rural area, actually my perception would be that it's a challenge in both of those areas, particularly as we look at climate change. Lousy, would you agree? Is there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, that's quite true. And just as Hannah has stated, yeah, we are finding that the farming has been affected because we are actually small-scale farmers. So because of the bad climate, you find that the crops are not really doing well. And because of the drought and everything, yeah, things are not good on their side. Yeah.
Thank you both for answering that, because actually I think climate was probably going to be my next question. So you've both covered that off brilliantly, which is one less job for me and one less question for me to ask. Well done. So I think one of the last couple questions I have then, if not about climate, might be another one actually for Hannah, is to tell us a little bit more about the approach to teaching how we can, teaching adults how to read and write, because obviously a lot of them have not been able to be in formal education, and the approach to literacy is quite different actually. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So this is true for all of the programs that Five Talents support that integrate literacy. We use a specific approach. It's often called the reflect methodology. And what that really means is teaching literacy through community empowerment. So instead of saying teaching literacy and numeracy as purely a theoretical almost thing, these are the vowels, this is how you read, and this is what we'll be reading today, which may be, a paragraph that's completely unrelated to your life. It may be set in a different country even. Actually using the literacy classes as a means to talk about the challenges that the community face. And it's not an approach that just Five Talents uses, other organizations use it too. And we know that it's actually effective in talking about other challenges that the community faces. So we heard from Lauzi about gender, about religious tension or religious differences, about climate change, all of these things that Lauzi and the team hope to see some change and some improvement in are discussed through the literacy classes, as well as obviously literacy and numeracy being a key outcome. And actually through this approach, we see literacy rates often being higher than what's kind of more a kind of classroom approach where everybody sits in a row and must be quiet while the teacher speaks and points with a big stick at the board and everybody repeats the vowels. Instead, if you visited a literacy class, what you would see is the teacher asking the community, what challenges do you face? And we heard a little bit about that in the video towards the end, kind of from the work that the team have already done with that, but then picking up on those. So perhaps it's gender. Okay, let's talk about gender. What does it mean to be a man and a woman in your society? What challenges do you face? And how can we, as a group, take action to change those? But also using the word for maybe men or women or gender in the local language to teach literacy. So it's relevant to the lives of the adults, which makes it much, it's picked up much more easily. And then also we see that change in some of those other social metrics. So it's different from kind of a textbook approach. There is no textbook. It's much more rooted in people's experiences.
Thank you, Hannah. I think one other thing that's been highlighted throughout the event today is we've talked about how many different people are going to take part in these groups and in these literacy lessons and in saving and learning activities. So we've talked a bit about different religions, different cultures, youth. Lauzi, how are you and the team in Mombasa going to attract so many different kinds of people, so many different people to the groups to help build their resilience?
Okay, with this, I can say when we go do the mobilization and sensitization, we actually try and sit down with the groups to actually interact with them to know their needs. So through their needs or whatever they require, that's when we are able to train them on specifically what they want so that we are able to work with them through this process. Because we don't want to go to a group, let's say, you find maybe it's maybe like I say it's the middle age or they are above the youth gap. So you see with this kind of different situations, because you find the needs that the youth have and the needs that the middle age have, these are quite different scenarios. So we try to make sure that our program is able to provide trainings to these types of different, let's say, age bracket or different kinds of, let's say, the genders and all that. So we go according to their needs. So it's a matter of, we listen to them first, they tell us about their needs, and from that and through our assessment, we are able to provide the practical trainings that we see is going to be of benefit to them.
Thank you, Lauzi. I only have one final question now, and that is just if there's anything else you would like to tell the people here today about Mombasa and about the communities that you work with.
Yes, I would also like to share that this program, we reach the communities that is through the Anglican Church. So you find that through this program, both, that is the local churches, they get to benefit from the groups, and also the groups get to benefit from the local churches. And how is this? group gets to benefit from the churches because we use the church facilities as our center points where we are able to gather the group members and we are able to conduct our meetings. So you find that the church provides a shelter. And how does the church benefit from these groups? I don't know if in the UK, yeah, you have things like what we call the quarters. That is, it is like a small section that the members of the church are supposed to give to the diocese or something of the sort. So you find that actually I can even give like a testimony, because you find that there is a group that we started with them sometime in October, but you find that within the church contribution at that specific parish level, within September, that is 2022, the contribution was a little bit down, but through their savings and through the fact that you are giving them trainings and they're able to start their small businesses, you find that they're able to increase their income. And through the increasement of their income, they're able to also give to the church, that is in terms of tithes and offerings. And also through that, through the groups, they're able to do church development activities, because you'll find in a place where the churches maybe they are really not conducive, like they don't even maybe have a roof, but through these trainings we've given them and through the little savings that they've been able to gather, they're able to put a roof on their church. So you find that this program is not only impacting like the individual group members, but also the church as a whole, and I can also say the diocese as a whole. And through that, I want to really thank the Five Talents family for enabling us to help transform the lives of our community members, and to every one of you for giving us the kind of support that we really need to change the situation within the Mombasa community. And we hope like in the next 3 to 5 years, there'll be a great difference within Mombasa community, and this will be of great benefit to us all. Thank you so much, Megan.
Oh, thank you so much, Lausi. It was really amazing to hear directly from you and to hear all about the great work that's already started in Mombasa. And I think we're all really, really looking forward to coming back in 3 to 5 years and seeing just how much has changed, because there's already been so much change in such a short span of time. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to pass this over to Rachel just to say a quick goodbye. We've really appreciated everyone being here and spending some time learning about Mombasa and about the communities there.
Thank you, Megan, and a special thank you to Lausi. Lausi, many of us here in the UK are sitting in our homes or in our offices, looking out at a grey sky and feeling the cold air outside. You have brought hope and light and inspiration to us today. You've really painted some wonderful pictures of the scenarios in Mombasa and the work that you're doing. I've been completely inspired by your vision to grow from 18 groups to 72 groups. By hearing about ladies like Beatrice who are learning to read and write for the very first time. I've been really inspired by the energy that you bring to this work. You've been with us less than a year and already you're brimming over with energy about what you can achieve through the communities that you're working with. And I've been massively inspired by the energy of the women that we saw in the video. It was so good to meet them and to hear from them and to hear their visions for the future and how they can come together, change their own circumstances by saving and borrowing and learning and earning together. They will be in control of their own futures and building better futures for the whole community. It was great to hear how everybody's welcome as well, whether you're male or female, Christian, Muslim, any other religion, older, young, unemployed, been to school or not, everybody's welcome. And that's a wonderful thing for us to hear. So thank you so much for inspiring us, Lausi. Thank you for all the work that you do. And we look forward to hearing how it unfolds in the next few years. Huge thank you also to all of you, the audience in the UK, for joining us today. Lovely to have you with us. I hope you've been inspired today as well. If you have, we always ask you to do 3 things. They are give, pray, tell. We say everybody can do at least one of those. So give, of course, we welcome your donation so that we can reach more communities. Just go to our website, fivetalents.org.uk, if you're able to give. Pray, if you're a person of faith, please do pray for the work for all of our partners and savings groups members. We know that helps. And please tell somebody else about the work too. Please tell somebody else what you've heard today. Introduce them to Five Talents and all that we do so that we can grow our network. So finally, building on the theme of inspiration, we have lots more events coming up for you this year, just like this one. It's our 25th anniversary year. So look out for invitations to more events to help us celebrate and grow. And the next thing to look out for is on your doorstep. Our impact report for 2022 will be landing sometime in April. So look out for that. That I know will inspire you lots too. I think that's all from us today, except to say a huge thank you again to all of you, to Lauzi and the team in Mombasa, and to wish you all a good rest of the day. Thank you all so much.